I just wanted to show my FreeNAS box. This hasn't seen much use because I'm currently just renting a room, so this is just staying at my parents' house right now. But once I buy a house, then this will be put in there and get good use out of. So let me just show some of the components. I've showed this before, but I have made a couple upgrades which I'll go over. So this is the OS disk. It's just like a 4 or 8 gigabyte USB stick, and I just have the header on there, so it just goes directly on there, so it's not even sticking out the back. I upgraded the motherboard and the CPU because I was benchmarking this before with my old CPU and it wasn't pushing a full gigabit of data, and I was checking the CPU was pegged. So this one, I haven't benchmarked it yet. I might have, but I know this can push more. This can basically push a gigabit easily. What I do need to do is see if it can push 2 gigabits, like to separate clients. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, basically this is a Celeron G530. It's like the crappiest CPU you can get. That's a LG 1155. It cost me like $35 used. And then this is a really crappy motherboard as well, but I think it's based on like Sandy Bridge. I forgot what the chipset is, but it's the one that has 1 SATA 3 port and then 5 SATA 2 ports. I think there's only one chipset that's like that. It's a really cheaper one. I probably got it for like 50 or less. And then, so some of the upgrades I made. So this has been in there. This is my RAID card, which I'm using. I have flashed the BIOS on here so that it's just passes them through. It has 2 SAS connectors, which have 4 SATAs on them each. I'm only using like 6 of those, I think. Yeah. So that's been in there. I'm not sure if I've showed that before. I forgot which one. That's a Rocket RAID, like 2640 or something, I think, or 2710. I'm not sure what that says. Yeah. But it's a 4-port. It takes 4 PCI slots, and it's PCI 2.0. So you're getting like 8 full PCI slots equivalent. So you get a good amount of data. So it's not, none of these are actually going to be the actual connection. The PCI connection isn't going to be the bottleneck in it. The bottleneck is going to be your network. So, and then I also got a network card. This is a Intel NIC right here. I think this is only a PCI. This is also a PCI 4, but I think it's only PCI 1.0. So it has 2 gigabit NICs on there, and then this motherboard has probably like some Broadcom NIC right there, but I'm not using it because the driver for Broadcom isn't that great for FreeBSD. So FreeNAS is based off FreeBSD. I have 4 8 gig sticks of RAM in there. Really, well, I don't know if they're cheaper RAM, but I just got whatever the cheapest was. I'm not too worried about the latency or the speed of it. I just need more gigs of RAM for ZFS buffering, or ZFS caching, sorry. There's 10 Samsung 2 terabyte hard drives. Those are kind of older, but I probably showed those in the videos before. But they're only 5,400 RPM, but still, still don't think that's the bottleneck. The bottleneck is still, I think, the network. I need to benchmark this thing and see if I can get 2 full gigabits through the Intel card. Yeah, and then finally, this is another cool upgrade I just got. I just got this on eBay for $55. Let me see if you can see it. It's an Intel 313 20 gigabyte SLC SSD. And I'm using that as the ZIL, which is kind of like a log device for ZFS. So basically, normally ZFS is copy on write, which means when you write new information, it doesn't write over the old information. So say you have a file and you edit it, instead of rewriting over the file, it just makes a new version of the file of the changes somewhere else. Not necessarily the whole file, but just the blocks. So it'll make all the changes in a new place, and then once it's completed that, it then changes the headers for the file system to say this is where the new file lives. So what this does is it means that the power can be killed on your machine at any time and you don't lose data. You only lose what hasn't been fully written. But instead of getting a corrupted file, you just don't get the corruption. You just don't have the changes. So normally what happens is all of that, the places where that ZIL is those logs are cached is on the actual data drive. So you're not getting a full speed of your data drives because part of that is, the logging But what this SSD does is it does all the logging for you. So everything that's written is actually written through this SSD. So it's, it can like really speed up writes. So I need to benchmark this guy and see if I can get full 2 gigabits. That would be kind of cool. I'd have to be able to pull it from 2 different clients. That's the thing. So I'd have to run the test from 2 desktops, pulling from him. But if I could, that'd be kind of cool because this is a really cheap rig for getting 2 gigabits per second. I mean, this case was $70. Those hard drives I got each for about $80. Got the Zill for this guy for $55. You know, everything else is pretty cheap. So yeah. Anyway, I'll show this when it's running. You know, probably several months from now. But the OS on here is FreeNAS is running on here. Cool thing about it is the whole operating system is basically just an image, and then all the config is also saved on the USB. But other than that, that's it. So as long as you back up your config, this USB could die. You just plug another USB in with FreeNAS loaded on it, and then just copy the config over, and everything will be exactly the same. The crappy part about that is you can't really install packages on FreeNAS directly, but they have a feature where you can just install a jail really easily. Like it's just you click through menus, you install your plugins jail, and then you can run plugins directly on it, and then people can write plugins. I've written a couple. They're all basically just Python programs. I also have a Subsonic one, which is a Java application. And I basically just packaged up these programs, and then you just install it through the web GUI, and then it, you know, it runs the web server for. I've made them for SAB, NZBD, Sickbeard, Couch Potato. I've probably showed them before, etc. There's more of them, but they're all basically just Python programs or Java. I'm gonna, I mean, you can look at the FreeNAS 8 forums and find them there. I'm gonna probably update that in a couple months once I have a chance to actually work. Like once after I've bought a house, because I'm just too busy right now. But anyway, hope you like this video. You can see how cool this hardware is. I'm really excited to actually plug this in and benchmark it, but I just don't have time right now. Yeah, I mean 32 gigs of RAM, and it has 2 terabytes. So, and that's in a RAID Z2, which is essentially a RAID 6 array. So I'm getting there's at any given time two of the drives are redundant, or not redundant. Sorry, two of them. I guess two of them are the redundant drives. So basically, I could lose 2 drives and I still wouldn't lose any data. And so out of those 10 drives times 2 terabytes, that's 20 terabytes. I only have 16 terabytes of usable data space, and then 4 terabytes of that would be the redundant space. So yeah, this thing has 16 terabytes of space. It has 32 gigs of RAM, a decent CPU, and 3 gigabit NICs, but 2 good gigabit NICs, and that Zill. So I'm excited to benchmark this guy and see how much data I can push through him. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, hopefully I'll post one in a couple months of it actually in action. See you guys.